And what's up, super creators? Thank you so much for joining me again on another episode of the Super Creator Podcast. I am your host, Super Manny, and today we are hitting up episode 4 with a really, really interesting guest, because the guests before are more into just photography and things of that nature, but we have an all-around artist with us today and creator. So a little bit of story. The guest that we have today is Nicanor Mercado, and he is an artist, comedian, entertainer, and YouTuber from Guam. If you've never heard of it, look it up. And he was born and raised there, but he is now living in Maryland and pursuing a career as an internet personality. Also, he is quite punctual. He is never late. No way, Jose. So that being said, we started this podcast not on time, but here we are. So I want to introduce you guys to our good friend, Nick. What's up, brother? I'm doing great. You know, I'm over here now in the tropicals, in the island. So I'm definitely chilling like a villain. So a little bit, just so people know, so me and Nick have been internet buddies for a while, for a good while. A good while. Like what? Hold on, wait. This goes back to, I'm gonna say 2013, right? 2013, 2014. That's when I was still living in the Dominican Republic, long time ago. And yeah, from then we just hit it off, talking about stupid stuff. And he has a YouTube channel, always putting up content, funny content. And we share common interests like breakdancing, which he's gonna touch up on later. And yeah, so finally we're able to get on here on the podcast. And originally from Guam. Did I say Guam, but moved to Maryland. So we were on the East Coast together, but as it would have it, I didn't travel to see him, but now we're here. So next, so then, bro, so what's going on? What have you been up to? What's the current status on everything you've been working on?
I've just been trying to like hash out the videos, man. Like, I think because the last couple of years, I've always been unmotivated. I always had like an excuse, but I think it was like until like last year, I was just kind of like, yo, I have really no reason why I shouldn't be putting out videos, like, especially like with all the free time that I had since I moved out here. So I made it a goal for myself to like put out at least like one video per week. So that's 4 videos per month. And that's a lot of videos per year. So I was just kind of like, I got to stick to that. And I have been, and I did it for a whole year, and I'm trying to do it for this year. And yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. And that's on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've noticed at the beginning, because you had content, then you like went on a hiatus for a while, and then you would like drop one video here, and then a few months would go by. But I definitely noticed that in the past year you've been just like, you know, consistent. And even though, shamefully enough, I haven't watched all of them, but I always try to take time to you know, go in and, you know, leave a comment, because that's what we do. But yeah, no, I've definitely seen the consistency, and honestly, the best thing that I've noticed on anything is consistency is key. That's the only way to grow.
Yes.
So then, on that note, so what was it that really like changed in your mindset to posting? Because I know, you know, now speaking to maybe YouTubers or aspiring YouTubers, you know, posting consistently or daily or having ideas or all those excuses are always a big thing. But what changed and made you just do it?
Oh man, you might get a little personal here, but I think it's when like, oh man, just a little backstory on me. It's gonna be like real sad, but when my parents passed away, it was like in a span of 2 years, and it just kind of made me realize like life is like so short, and I shouldn't be like wasting on it on doing nothing. So it kind of forced me to like you realize like, hey, like life is short, and I got to do what I got to do. And if I got these dreams and these goals, like I got to pursue them. I got to put in the work. Otherwise, it's always just going to be a dream. And I want it to be as real as it can get.
Yeah, man, for sure. And again, I'm sorry about your loss. I remember when you were mentioning and posting about it, and I feel for you, and thank you for sharing, because I know that's not easy, but I know that now that you use that as a motivator for your videos, so it gives me more backstory to all your work, and now when I see it, I will always see that motivator. So it's gonna be that much more impactful for me. So, damn. Ugh. But I know what you mean, man, about like having a dream, and if you're not doing it, it's just always gonna be a dream, and like whether you go all in and it doesn't happen, then it didn't happen. But if you go all in, like like what's the worst that can happen? You make it. Or not, then you have a whole bunch of fun content for people to watch. You know?
You got nothing to lose. It's kind of like that's what I think everyone should like have as a mindset. Like, if you want to be a singer, if you want to be a dancer, if you want to be an actor, it's like go for it. But essentially, of course, you're gonna have to do these things in order to still follow that dream. Like, I guess work a 9 to 5 or do stuff that you don't want to do just to pursue what it is that you want to pursue. But at the end of the day, it's like if that's what you want to do, like you got like one life to live, and you got to do it.
For sure. No, definitely, I hear that loud and clear. I've also been on that journey of like, should I do it, not do it, go, and actually even this podcast is kind of a result of that, because one of my like goals was to really like unite the creative community, and expose the creators out there that aren't getting like the recognition, but are dope people, not just their content. Like, I'm trying to get away from, I say this on my other podcast, like we're not pixels. We're not pixels. We're not audio files. Like, these are people. And I feel like when we get to know the creator behind the videos and behind everything, that's what makes it like personal, and that's what makes it so enjoyable to watch.
For sure, man. For
You
sure.
know, like if I didn't know you, like if I saw somebody else doing your videos, I would probably be like, eh. But since I know you and I know your story, like I can relate to it. And
Yeah,
I know like your mindset, your motive of why you're doing this is just like, oh yeah, that's Nick. I know what he's going through.
yeah.
That's dope, man. So then, so okay, that was a good point for the YouTubers. That definitely did that. And then, so a little bit of, can you share when you started as a artist, dancer? Like, what was your beginning of creative process into what we call the artist or creative world? What was your beginning steps?
Oh man. First and foremost, I started out as like a legit artist. Like I love drawing. Like, I guess it's always that trope of like, how you watch Dragon Ball Z and you start drawing the characters.
Yes.
But the cool thing with that was like I was selling my drawings. Like, I think, not to toot my own horn, but I feel like that's kind of, it put like a legitimacy into how good I was at the time. It's just me like selling out these drawings, and I loved drawing for a long time. I drew whatever, whether it was like cartoons or real life or just anything that was like going through my mind. And that's definitely what started my whole like artistic, I guess, identity at the time.
Okay, so it started with drawing then.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's good. I was just talking to, my last guest, and it was basically the same. He was talking about like, being an artist and drawing, and I was just like, man, I cannot draw for my life. Like my brother got all the artistic genes when it comes to like the hand skill. Like he
Yeah.
can mold stuff and paper mache stuff and draw things and airbrush things. Like he's like that artist, and I'm just like, well, I have the internet, so let me make something. I have technology on my side. Yeah, bro.
But
So then what happened with that, with drawing? You still doing it, or what's...
oh man, I was really passionate about it until like college, when I was trying to like major in it. But then I guess it was like the whole like academic side to it that just made me really like not want to draw anymore. It's just because like the art classes that I had, they were pretty demanding. It's like it was getting to that point where like they were telling you what to draw or what to create, as opposed to you just kind of creating what it is that you wanted to, like in your mind or in your heart. So I started losing like kind of like passion for it, which is really sad because I felt like I was on this really good streak, but that whole thing with college just kind of took me away from all that like artist stuff. But at the same time, I feel like, you know, as corny as it sounds, like everything happens for a reason. Because if I hadn't like ventured off like from art, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. You know.
That's true. That's definitely a good point, and it's good that you see it positively because other people would just be moping around like, oh, I don't draw anymore.
I was over here like, oh, there's other stuff I can do. All right, I'll do that.
Exactly. That's basically how it goes from one hobby to the next. You're like, all right, now that I can't do this, let me jump on something else.
Oh yeah.
But no, that's dope. Maybe you should do it like a video doing like a drawing, like a what you call it, like a time lapse or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an idea.
Like Dragon Ball Z character.
Why not, bro? That's how we all start. I've drawn my good share of comics and you know, Garfield and Dragon Ball Z, all that. I was big into X-Men, so but the thing is, you know, I didn't draw good, so I would just trace everything and then color it. But it's still my art. So then so after you left the drawing and the art, then what did you transition? Like what did you find next? How did you find that?
Oh, like I forgot to mention, like simultaneously with the whole drawing thing, I really got into like dance and singing, and I really owe all that to my sister because growing up she was like a huge NSYNC fan.
Yes.
And it kind of transitioned over to me because it's kind of like, you know, when you're like a younger sibling, the older sibling gets to like control like whatever plays on the car radio or in the house.
Definitely.
Yeah, so she was just playing NSYNC all the time, and I guess eventually it got me into NSYNC because I was kind of like, hey, they sing, they dance pretty well, so it kind of stemmed off from that. Like I started dancing like to NSYNC videos. Like I would like study the choreography and I would like memorize it, and then I would perform it at school or even like talent shows. And it was the same thing with singing. Like I was in like choir, like, well, I tried out for choir when I was in elementary, but I didn't get to. I made it, but it was like a time conflict with my parents' jobs, so I didn't join just because like I had no one to take me. But like fast forward to high school, I joined like one of like the island's like most like prestigious I guess choirs. So yeah, along with art, there's always dance and there's always singing. So I guess like triple threat, if you like put it that way at the time.
Yeah. No, I get that, and that's dope. That's I can fully relate to that because I'm also, you know, have my background in dance. And always watching the music videos. I honestly I think I know every step to almost all their videos, and if I don't, it's because I didn't pay attention to it. And so for those of you newer listeners, younger generation, if you don't know NSYNC, go watch the music videos, YouTube them because they were super dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day, man, those boy bands, the choreography was everything. Like,
Yeah.
forget the director of the music video, it was the choreographer. If he wasn't here, then everything else was just like whack.
Yeah. They were even doing like stunts and all that. I was like, okay, I see you in sync.
Yeah, even there was a bit of like Justin Timberlake and them breakdancing and stuff, like going down backstage.
And I remember, like, not to be all like an NSYNC nerd, but one of their main choreographers was Wade Robson. He was like a huge inspiration to when I danced, and it's just so different at that time because like these bands would have like these world class choreographers doing their videos, and now it's like artists can't even seem to like be able to hold a beat to their own songs that they're making, and it's kind of like I don't get it.
Yes, definitely. That's yeah, I get that 100%. And can we let's talk about that a little bit. Let's because it's a topic that I've brought up before, and when it comes to like creativity and artists, like back then there was talent.
Yeah.
Like you actually had to sing
Yeah.
and know how to dance,
Hmm.
especially if it's your song. Like, it's like you said, nowadays is like people, it's not about the talent anymore. It's just about like, oh, do they look cool? Is it a cool flow? Whatever it is. And and even the beats nowadays, like, I mean, going back to like those NSYNC times and Missy Elliott and Timbaland beats, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
now when you hear some beats, I'm just like, really? Like, come on, man, with all the technology out there and all the knowledge of how to compose music from the ages, like it just got so like plain,
Yeah. For sure, man.
and like I don't even resonate with that anymore. Like I feel like the old man, like I still listen to the 60s and 50s, but no, it's like it's not because I grew up in that era. It's just you can tell the difference of the quality of the artist and the music. And it's not that all artists are like that, but there's a majority that definitely follow that trend.
Yeah. Like with the beats now, or just like instrumentals, it's just like on a like a grand scale, it sounds dope. But man, like I really miss hearing like snares. I miss hearing like, those old school drum beats. Just anything basic, not basic, but to the point where it's like it's not overpowering the artist. You know what I mean? Like they're still able to have one over the beat. But now it's kind of like a lot of people are like, yo, that beat was dope, but then those lyrics were trash, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's basically like the lyrics are just part of the instrumental.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But back in the day, it's like even if you dropped the song or the instrumental, like they were just both fire on their own.
Yeah.
And like like we're talking about Swiss Beats.
Mhm.
Who else was one of the composers? Fat Man Scoop.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Like those, like you drop that beat anywhere, and like if someone's not dancing, they need to get out. They just
Wait, what are you doing?
yeah, no, but and so that's another thing. So what do you think um caused that, or what do you think influenced that whole shift in music and artistry?
I feel like, I mean, if someone's signed, there's obviously some sort of talent. But for like recent artists, I don't know, like I'm holding these like record labels accountable. I'm just like, what made you like look at this act and be like, hey, they're good, let's sign them. And then, but then you sign them and you're like, this is like subpar talent. Like, and I think this the standards just kind of dwindled, like because like you said back then, it was kind of like you had to be like a triple threat. You had to sing, dance, and there's even people who were even acting at the time. And I feel like maybe it's like a generational thing where like these newer kids, they're just more impressed with like basic stuff, as opposed to like us. We were just kind of like we were paying attention to everything, especially with music. So I feel like maybe that's something that kind of factored in.
No, no, definitely, I get that point. And yeah, I think it's I don't want to. Well, it's I feel like they are targeting the youth more specifically, and not just like in general. Does it sound good? It's more like, oh, is it modern? Is it hip? Kids like it. All right, that's it. And it doesn't matter if it really has anything to do with the industry, with music quality, with none of that. And then the artists that do care about that, they're just like in the back burner. Like nobody pays attention to them, but those are the ones I listen to. I still listen to everything from the '90s up to the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yes, it stays on my Spotify.
Because like every time I'm like driving and stuff, I have this like one station that I go to. It's like an 80 station, and just comparing like how songs were produced in the 80s was kind of like it just felt more full. It felt more like there was more, I guess, consistency. There was more like substance to it. You know what I mean? Like Because you have these artists who were just like talented, like they could hit like all these notes and they could like do these riffs, and then they could play instruments, and the songs just kind of seemed like it wasn't like, it's just like, it's not like a straight line like how it is today. It's kind of like you have a basic format of how to do a song, but with like the 80s and the 90s and what, and you know, so forth, it was just kind of like it had those kind of like, I guess, like it wasn't consistent, but in a good way where it's kind of like unpredictable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it was a full composition.
Yeah.
It had everything that it needed to have. It had its, climactic moments. It had its intro. It had the vocals. If it had just instruments or if it just had like a background beat, but everything flowed. So it was really musically pleasing and not just adrenaline pleasing. Because nowadays it's just like, oh, is it hype? Is it gonna get me to dance? Is it gonna like, hit those EDM beats and stuff like that? Like that's all it is nowadays. It's like, oh, if it's a dope beat that we could just kind of like rock to, then it's good music.
Yeah.
But back then it wasn't about like making you move. It was about feeling the song and the lyrics and actually like connecting with the artist or whatever they're saying.
Yeah. Like, I mean, against what we've been saying about like new generational music, I feel like the people who to me who've been like standing out or have been like kind of holding it down has been like Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak. Like if you don't know who he is, you guys should check him out. Like he does like these cool like rap jazz kind of thing, and it's so like reminiscent of like, like the 90s stuff, and it's just good, and I feel like those artists, it's like they're just holding it down. They're like not going, like they're going against the mold of like not like mumble rapping or sugary pop like songs and stuff. Like they're doing stuff that sticks to the roots of music, but at the same time they're still doing something new. And I think like that's the reason why they'll probably like stand against the test of time when it comes to the music industry,
Yeah, no, and I definitely hear that. And it goes back to really, it's not even like they have a 90s or 80s sound, but it's just, good music has a format. It has a logical format and that's what pop music is. It's popular, but it's popular in the sense of like how the body receives, the sounds and things, not just popular on like, what year we're in or what's the wave at the time. And even it goes to show like nowadays, who's more famous, the artist or the DJ?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what's a DJ? Like, okay, like you have to get credit for a composition. Now DJs are dropping beats, and it's like the DJ is being named featuring the singer. It's like, no, it's supposed to be the singer, and produced by such and such DJ. But I guess it's like, but it goes to show like where the attention is. The attention is definitely not on the, I guess. I don't want to say the artists because DJs are also the artists, but they have their own lane, and it's like it feels like it kind of switched, or they just like took the role of the musician or the artist, which I don't think is cool. I mean, props to them, but it's not cool. So then, yeah, brother, but definitely like even you just talking about that, like it's another thing that I was talking to a few other people, and it's even just like creativity in general, like with this whole like social media age and internet age, and it's like I feel like the roots of everything have kind of been lost, but they're still there, like dwindling. And I feel like I gotta bring it back. I gotta keep it alive. I gotta keep lighting that fire, and letting people know that it's because there's a lot of great content out there and a lot of great creators and a lot of great things, but I feel like because we're oversaturated on like social media, it's like you just kind of have to keep up with the wave, even if you don't feel it or even if you don't like it. Like, even nowadays, like everybody's a trap artist.
Yeah.
Like nobody's rapping anymore. And if you rap, it's like, oh, he's old school. He's You know, he's one of those. He's yeah. I feel like everybody who starts rapping is like a activist or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're rapping to promote like civil rights movements and stuff, and like no, it's not what rap was. You know, but just when it
Yeah.
was cool and hip, it's like trap. It's like I don't know. I feel like I'm growing gray hairs just talking about it. My age is exposing. Damn. Yeah, man. So what kind of goals do you have set for you for like this year and like moving forward? Like what are kind of some of the things that you want to achieve or that you're looking to do? Any collabs, any special projects?
um, I'm always down for collabs, man, but I feel like it's just like, well, maybe it's an excuse, but I think distance and time zones are kind of a conflict sometimes. But I'm always down. Like I'm never like against it. It's just people aren't asking. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I'm just sitting around waiting, or I'll ask and I'll never get a response. But for the most part, like I'll never like turn anyone down, especially if I know like they're good people. They got like honest content. Like I'm always down for collab and stuff, and just like for a general idea for me and my channel, I just want to keep putting out videos and staying like true to myself because I feel like a lot of these new YouTubers they kind of get caught up in the rapture of like, oh, I've got to be this way or I got to do this thing to stay relevant, and that's not necessarily the case. I feel like if you just stay true to yourself and you find your that one thing that you're good at, or even like two or three other things that you're good at and you stick with it, people will like pick up on that and they will recognize you. And I feel like you don't have to sell yourself short in order to be like the next viral thing. And I think that's like an issue a lot of these new cats have. And I just want to stray away from that. I want to just be as real as I can be this year and for the coming years and until I get famous, you know?
Yeah. You drop the F bomb. No, but it's true. It's I mean, and that's one thing that I've like really been noticing that it's people connect with the person, not really with the content. Like I follow some stuff that is just like hardcore whack, and it's just like there's nothing special to it, but I know the person,
Yeah.
you know, and I connect with that person. So whatever he's putting out, I'm just interested in because later on, if I have a conversation with him, I'm just be like, yo, I saw you were at this place, or you visited such town, or you ate chicken, like you know, like whatever, whatever that is, like I can share because it's a person. It's
Yes.
beyond just their content. So even if somebody is doing like A1 production quality on all their videos or whatever work that they're doing, but if I don't resonate with them, if I don't connect with them, I'm not going to check out the work. It's not gonna, it's not gonna matter.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I feel like having that kind of like that personal brand and
Yeah.
having people connect with you as a person just makes every piece of content more enjoyable than
Yes.
the content itself. You know, like honestly, you could be recording something just straight off your cell phone or whatever. It can have whack audio. Like it doesn't have to be like the full, gear set. But
Yeah.
because it's you, like I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if it's somebody else, I'll just be like, oh man, their audio's whack. What are they doing? Yeah. So it's good that I know now you've been putting out content and it's people get to see more of you and
Mm-hmm.
like your personality and even like on your IG stories whenever you post a new video, you got like a little like hey, how you doing? What's going on? Why don't you check out this video? But that's like a little spin. Like now, even when I see it, even though I would just scroll past, but I
Yeah.
know it's yours and I know it's a funny message. So
Yeah.
like I'll go back and like I'll read it. And then I mean I won't swipe up but I'll still I still know it's there.
Because it's like, man, I'm just trying to find like creative and different ways to say like, hey, watch my video. Because I feel like if you say the same thing over and over, people are going to be like, whatever.
Swipe up, link in bio. Yeah. No, but it's good. Honestly, it caught my attention. Like I said, now when I see it, like even if I scroll past it, I'll go back to read.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, okay, that's Nick. He just posted something.
Yeah.
But but it's good. It's part of your personality, and like people who connect with that are really gonna continue to follow your work, continue to check it out, and like, you know, show that love, because it's not really about what you're posting, it's about who's posting it,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know. So yeah, people gotta know your story. You gotta get it out there. You gotta connect that. I mean, not super personal, but as much as you want.
Keep
They
it
gotta know
moving.
all the deets. But, but yeah, no, I'm excited about seeing you and doing like future collabs, and we definitely gotta link up. That's for sure. That's like 100%. You know, I always tell everybody that like everyone who's on this podcast, like this is just part one, is the audio, but the part two is us meeting in person and filming like kind of like a day in the life, a vlog, and seeing you like, you know, do what you do. And that's going to be like the kind of like the connecting point of what we're saying. And then they get to see it live and like, you know who Nick is for real, for real.
Yeah.
So that's definitely in the future work. So next time I'm on the East Coast, I gotta take a drive up to the Maryland. Yeah, man. So how's the, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say how's the weather, but I already know it's terrible over there. So on that. But how was it the transition? I mean, I know you came from Guam over to the States. So how did that affect you, or how did that help or not help?
Oh man, it was well, the reason why I came here, you know it, but
Yeah,
it was just real personal. So it's just kind of unexpectedly moving here. It was a really big like culture shock, you know, and not to mention the weather, because it's like I've been an island boy for like how many years, like all my life basically, and just to have like weather that's at like 50 degrees, I'm just like, yo, this is cold. But everyone's like, that ain't cold, man. What are you talking? So it's like that was crazy. That was a crazy transition. But it's funny, like when I'm driving on the highway, like I feel like I'm the only car that has all his windows down, because it's like I'm telling you, like when you live on an island and it's like summer like 24/7, like you appreciate the cold. So I'm just kind of like, yo, I love it. I love this cold air, you know. But drivers are looking at me like, is he serious?
is it
Does he have all his windows down? So it's kind of like that's something like I really enjoyed, like different seasons, you know, like as opposed to having just one or two back home. And but the more like serious part about it is just kind of like I went from having like all these family and friends to having like not nothing, but it just like it went down.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. And
So
you know,
it was like it was a little bit of difficulty adjusting to, because I was just so used to like having friends coming over, or like me going over to friends' house, or just being like 20 minutes away from each other, or like being able to just drive to the beach, which was always like a 10 or 15-minute drive. But when I got here, I was just kind of like, wow, I lost kind of like all those privileges, and it made me like appreciate more of like of I guess how good I had it back home, just with like how close everything was, especially with like family and friends and all that good stuff. But I've been adjusting well, and yeah, it's just like one day at a time, you know.
yeah, I get that. And yeah, it's it's definitely different being on the island and being in the States.
Yeah.
And the first time seeing snow is, it's cute for the first hour.
Yeah.
Then when it keeps falling and then you got to shovel, it's not cute anymore.
I'm like, all right, that's enough of that.
Exactly. It's funny. My mom, she always just told me there's a like a funny, like an Argentinian joke, and it's like about the first time like he went to the States and he saw snow. He's
Yeah.
like writing a diary, and like day one everything's good, day two, week one, week two, after like 30 days, he's just like, I can't take this. I hate this white stuff. Everybody goes through that with their first snowstorm.
Oh,
It's not easy at all.
Yeah.
So Nick, real quick, just to wrap things up, and yeah, I definitely appreciate being able to talk again and everything. Um, but one thing I was asked is if you had any type of advice or insight or something that you would like all the people listening or the future creators to either keep in mind or implement, or something you want to see more of, like what would that advice be? What would be your best nugget that you could pass on to everybody?
Oh man, that's a really good question. One thing that I would have to say is whatever it is you're thinking of doing, and you're coming up with all these excuses on not to do it, just do it. Like even if you're scared, even if you feel like you're inadequate in some way, you just gotta put your foot forward and do it. Because otherwise, you're never gonna do it. You're gonna keep coming up with these excuses on why you haven't done something. Like especially with all these kids trying to venture into YouTube, they're always saying like I want to start my first channel, but I don't have the equipment, or I don't have any ideas. And I'm like, all the greats that are on YouTube, we started out with like nothing. Like we started out with like a ghetto setup, like shoe boxes, like a digital camera. But it was just the fact that they had so much passion in what they wanted to do and who they wanted to be. Like that just kind of transcended them into like being who they are now. So I feel like if you're scared of to do something, then do it scared. Because it's better to do it scared or do it nervous or do it like hesitant than not doing it at all. Like that's always gonna be something that's gonna like ring in the back of your mind. And it doesn't have to be just YouTube. It can just be anything that you want to do in life. Like you just gotta do it. I mean, man, I hope Nike doesn't sue me for.
Nike. I was just about to say that. I was like, Nike's gonna drop a copyright real quick.
They're like, oh, this is that's using our slogans. Should we sue?
FBI agents already sending the info. They're like, okay, this conversation. No, bro, but that's for sure. For sure, I hear that loud and clear. And thank you for sharing that because people need to hear it 1,000 times. And it's something that I struggled with, something everybody struggles with. But we got to remember the greats started at some point. Michael Jordan picked up a basketball for the first time at some point. When he shot his first shot, I guarantee he didn't make it. Like, what I'm saying? So, but he kept at it, and something that I just saw recently, that's actually I guess a quote from one of the more well-known YouTubers from Roberto Blake. And he just posted recently that when he saw where he's at today, he said, it was exactly where I wanted to be 10 years ago. And the reason why I was able to get to that point or make it a reality is because I was focused and consistent on just that thing. So because he, stayed focused, that reality that he wanted to create, he was actually able to create it for himself. So I feel it's like the same for everybody else. If you're just whatever that goal is, whatever that dream, that thing you want to achieve, if you're just streamlined and just go for it, doesn't matter, not focusing on the time, just focusing on what you need to do, for sure you're gonna get there because there's no other choice. If you're going towards that, like you're going towards it. There might be some, some curves and things, but you're still going at that, So for sure.
Can I add one more thing?
Of course. Two more things.
One thing I did personally is like anytime I was talking about my dreams, my goals, or what have you, I changed all the ifs. If I become famous, I would change it to like when I become famous, because it really changes your mindset. It's kind of like, because when is more like, I guess,
tangible.
Yeah, like it has more determination as opposed to if, because if there's still doubt, and it's always gonna like, I guess, ring in the back of your head. But when, like for me, when I started saying when, it's just kind of like that's what it is. That's the goal. Like that's what I want to do, and it sounds more like consistent and it sounds more determined as opposed to just saying if. A little change like that, it really turned like the tables for me. So I hope you guys would consider doing that too. So.
Boom. There you go. You heard it here first. No more ifs, ands, or buts, but just when, right?
Yes.
When you're gonna get it done. So no, and I hear that. I doubt myself all the time as well, and I'm just like, I don't know if it's good, but we just gotta do it. You don't make it because you're that good. You make it because you're that persistent,
Yeah.
and you become good at it. So I definitely hear that, and I for sure know that with what you're doing, even with your dance and singing and YouTube, like it's something that the people can resonate with.
Yeah.
It actually is funny because you're just like I feel like you make fun of yourself,
Yeah.
so that's what just makes it naturally funny. So it's like they gotta laugh. But no, I definitely see you doing big things, and I'm here to be a part of it, to support it, to see it. I'm always in the back, like, yeah, Nick, you got this. Yeah, so if you give up, I'll have to beat you down. No, for sure. I'm definitely excited, and like I said, I've seen you grow throughout the years, as a person, and as a friend, and as a creator. So it's beautiful to see that journey. So
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
keep that up. So then for everybody who does and is going to start following your content and leaving comments and liking and subscribing, where can they check you out?
Honestly, guys,
what are your tags? Leave the social media
here. Honestly, you can find me on everything at Nicanor Mercado, because that's how fortunate I am to have my name as a as a plug for everything. So that's Nicanor Mercado. Like, you just type that in, like, it'll just pop up with me.
Boom. And I'll leave it there so you guys can see it and all the links and stuff. I mean, we always say like we're gonna leave the links, but how many times do we actually leave the link?
Yeah.
We forget, right?
I'll leave the link down below, and then like, yo, where's the link? I was like,
where's the link? Oh snap! It was a link.
A link.
What you talking about?
Talk about that, just brother. Hold on.
I trust me, I do it all the time because we were like, yo, where's the link? And I'm like, I did say there was a link, right? Okay. But definitely, guys, check them out at Nicanor Mercado. Mercado, like, market in Spanish, or and Nicanor, like Nicanor. That's it. No, for sure. But you can check him out on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. He's always posting funny things, dope things, interesting things for you to retweet and share and like. But again, my man Nick, thank you so much again for coming on the podcast, and it was great talking to you, being a part of more of the, I guess, YouTube creator community, as a part to like everybody else that I spoke to, because it's definitely a new light, and I want everybody to know that everyone's welcome here as long as they're creating from the heart and have that passion.
Yeah,
we can talk about it. So I'm gonna finish off the podcast with my little spiel, which is, first of all, thank you for listening to Super Creators. And each and every one of you is a super creator. You just have to find your superpower. So with that being said, we will finish off today. Go follow Nick, check out his stuff, and leave a comment on the podcast. And I will see you guys next time.